Hey, everybody. Today is going to be just a fun little chit chat. We're still testing this StreamYard broadcast live stream software that I'm using here, which is actually web based and really, really awesome. But yesterday I was talking about is photography your passion? Is it a job? Like, is it both? Like, what is it to you? And to just give you the 10-second recap on me is photography was a complete accident for me when I was way younger. I say way younger, in my early 20s. 23 years old is when I opened shop. And those beginning aspects of photography that was very intriguing, it was very difficult. That part that kind of like became your addictive passion of learning photography, that has honestly never gone away. And I've even taken it as far as I enjoy teaching other people how to learn this craft and how to help them stay passionate and how to always move forward and learn and apply it. And the only competition you have eventually is really honestly yourself, because that's what being an artist really is there's only one you. And I've taken that to heart. And there's been a lot of people I have met over the years. And some people wanted to learn photography for the business part of it. And, they kind of stay there. And then you meet some people that are highly creative, but they don't really get the business part. And then you meet the people like myself who understand the creative side and they also get the business side. And that is why I'm going to bring into the stream my buddy Darren Thompson of Thompson Design. I met him a long time ago, but he's a mold of myself, and I was just encouraged to see that in somebody else. So let me see if I can do this right. I'm going to mess this up somehow. We're going to remove that. We're going to add Mr. Darren. Boom. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Darren Thompson. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, sir. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Oh man, look, this is just a hangout. I'm gonna tinker around. I'm gonna click around. What can I do here? Ooh, we both look skinnier. I like this aspect.
Works for me.
Works for me too. Let me see. What else can I do here? That's this way. It's together, and I can do a screen. Okay. So real quick, I'm gonna single you out here. And back when I met you at one of the After Darks in Charlotte, how long ago was that anyway? Like,
I've lost track.
It was at least 15 years ago.
Maybe not quite. I'm going to say probably 11 or 12. It's getting close to 15. But, and the only reason I say that is because we officially started our business in October of 2008. And it would have been very shortly after that. That's when we were doing the After Darks.
Nice. Which, by the way, I am trying. I'm kind of nudging Dave Junyan to kind of do something to bring it back. I can absolutely do something of that aspect here in New Orleans, but not right now.
Right.
With all this COVID stuff happening, there's so many restrictions, man. I'm not sure if they'll let me walk to my truck from my house to my truck without a mask being on soon.
Right.
So tell us, how did you even get involved? How did the camera fall into your lap, and what happened that made you want to do this for a living?
Well, for me, I was always one that was taking pictures. I was thinking back before we went on the air there. I think my first camera was a Kodak 110 when I was in high school. I don't know how many years ago we won't talk about, but even at the college age, when I was in college, I was a college athlete at a small Division III school. The Canon Rebel was my best friend. And there was always something about the documentation of events and the documentation. I look back on it now, and it's the documentation of those events in time. And it's kind of funny and a little ironic. I actually saw a meme earlier today on social media that said something to the effect of, photographs take you back to moments in time. And I was like, that's pretty poignant, and it's dead on, because it doesn't matter the image. If you look at it, whether you're the creator or whether you're, looking at it as a viewer, it takes you back to that moment or to that place or to that time or whatever it may be, even if it's just documenting families. And so I've always been drawn to the craft from that regard. I have to credit a couple of our close friends here in the area. After I met my wife in around 2000, 2001, she had some background in design and graphic design and things like that, not so much on the photography side. And so we made a pretty good mix. She had the graphic knowledge and the Photoshop knowledge, and I was learning things with the camera. And then shortly after we met, a family friend of ours said, have you ever thought about taking sports photos for like the rec teams and stuff around here? And I was like, well, no, not really, because she knew I was involved in sports and was a rec coach and things like that. She said, well, I've seen your snapshots, and your snapshots are better than what we're paying for. And that was kind of the light bulb moment for me. And so sure enough, fast forward the next season, we started shooting a little bit of recreation stuff. At that point, didn't really know what I was doing. And it prompted me to go to do some continuing education classes. This was right on the brink of the digital age. My first DSLR professionally was a digital one. Not film based, but I learned on film, which was exciting, and got to work in a darkroom a little bit at the very tail end of of that era, I guess you'd say. And my wife and I both at the time were working for the same company. She enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. The creative aspect, the artistic aspects, probably more her forte than mine. Mine was always the technical side and being the technician, but we started seeing that, hey, we can add some revenue here to our household income fairly easily, nights and weekends, and it kind of just snowballed from there. And along the journey, fast forward 5 years ago, the company that we were working for sold and merged with another firm. We kind of had one foot out the door at the time, and that kind of gave us the kick in the butt out the door. We rolled in, Lisa rolled into full time with photography, being home based still at the time. And I helped her when needed. And we also own another company that I run the day to day of, but I'm still very active in the photography in the studio and things like that.
That's
and
cool.
Fast forward a couple more years, actually it'd be 2 years ago in April, we opened our first brick and mortar studio at a time when more photographers were getting out of brick and mortar than we're going into. And so we've carved out a pretty nice little niche here. And for us, it's all about the experience with our clients, being able to create these memories for not only our family and our friends, but being able to create these memories and these keepsakes that are going to last the test of time for our clientele. And that's really what drives us. And that's where our passion comes from, is being able to see what we're able to do for them. And a lot of times they don't even realize it at the time we're doing it. It's down the road that things happen or something changes, a dynamic will change within their family or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But those are the things that keep us going and kind of fuel our fire and make us excited about stepping into the studio every day.
That's cool. So what happened? Do you remember the first time you had a good sale? You know what I mean? Like that first year, and you kind of, oh gosh. That's my ringtone for my mom.
You might want to take that one. That's an important one.
That is hysterical. Oh my gosh. Do you remember the first, I don't know, big client or big sale you had where you were kind of like, all right, we're on the right path. Let's keep doing this.
I don't specifically, strangely. I've never really been asked that, but we struggled for a long time. Our growth has been slow. We started officially as a business in 2008, and it took us a good 10 years to get it out of the house and into a studio. But the thing that we always, that I remember specifically surrounding that was, we struggled for a long time with, is what we're providing worth that price tag? And are we, and I guess the biggest part of it for us was probably self-doubt, which is, are we good enough? We see these other photographers that are able to do that and get these kind of averages on their sales and stuff. And we were always very hesitant for a long time. We fought with it for a long time. And then finally, one year, Lisa redid our pricing, and really our biggest jump in pricing, and this has probably been, I'm going to say 8 years ago, roughly, maybe 9, 5 or 6 years in. And when she did that, we didn't miss a beat. Nobody said anything. And we might have 1 or 2 clients that kind of balked at it, but those would have been ones that had done stuff before that came back. And but after that first season, and what we photograph, the majority of our revenue comes from high school seniors. After that first season of working through the higher price structure and seeing, hey, this is feasible, this is doable, we can do this, that really boosted us into a whole nother level for our work and what we were able to do and provide. And the more and the longer we did that, the more comfortable you get with it, the more confident you become in it. And it's a snowball effect from there.
Definitely. Because, I'm sure there's a ton of people that are out there, and age doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can be young and just get this camera in your hands, or you can be semi-retired and you get a camera in your hand for the first time and you're like, wow, this is something interesting. The funny part for me is, I think the business part of it is probably the hardest part to.
Absolutely. I would agree.
Yeah. The shooting is the fun part. The being creative is the fun part. Way back in the film days, learning how to do this craft as good as some people you may consider your mentors, like your, older photographers who were just shooting way better than you, or some teachers that you go to a seminar and you're like, oh my God, if only, I could shoot that good. It blows me away how many levels and how many layers are involved in this thing that we consider photography. And then you stick that word professional in the front of that,
right?
It does something. It does something hugely. Suddenly people's expectations of you go up, your own expectations go up, and you almost feel weird the first few years that, yeah, you're charging for your stuff, and you got to tell people I'm a pro photographer. And and I know that when I say the word pro photographer, somebody else is in my vision as far as what a pro photographer is to me. And in the beginning, for the first, I don't know how many years, I wasn't seeing myself in that vision of pro photographer. It was always somebody else. So many other people, honestly, that were doing it longer than me and better than me. And, still I still kind of feel a little queasy about using that word in front of photographer. But fast forward to, this is my 26th year in business, and something happens eventually. Something happens when you realize that you're a part of this industry. You are actively involved in everything that is professional right now. And it's my responsibility that I take kind of more seriously now, that now I enjoy raising the bar. Now I enjoy, just destroying everybody else around me when it comes to customer service. And that's a huge part of being in business that has nothing to do with being a photographer.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you start taking those things and you squish it, and you eventually find your own brand. Which brings me to my next question. Where are you right now as far as your branding? Do you feel like you're showing people exactly what you want people to see of you and your brand, or you still tweaking it? Because I know there's a lot of people that have been doing this for a very long time, and they're stuck. Sometimes they're like in a rut. They don't know what their brand is. They don't know what they should do. I'm just kind of curious, where are you and your lovely wife with your own branding?
Well, the timing of that question is impeccable, sir. With the onset of COVID, as with a lot of people, we've been gifted the gift of time, probably more so than we would care to in a lot of situations. But
buttons over here. I'm trying to find out what the hell to do.
For us, and I think with most businesses, especially most small businesses, word of mouth is always your best or worst advertising, no question.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been very blessed over the past 12 to 14 years of, one job or one client has led to another, to another, to another. We've gotten some corporate work from word of mouth. We've gotten some galas and things like that from word of mouth. And just, you touched on it earlier. Our main objective with our senior clients specifically, but with all of our clientele, because seniors account for probably 50 to 60% of what we do, is to provide an experience that they're not going to find anywhere else in our area. And so we've worked really diligently over the years at refining our process and things like that. Oh gosh, that's from our first, I'm looking at the slideshow there. That's from a caricature from the restaurant we went to for our first anniversary several years ago. But building that client experience has been huge. And so, we work really hard to provide a top-notch experience and provide quality products and prints that they're not going to get anywhere else. We work really closely with our lab, and that relationship has been enhanced in the last year or so. We've been included in a pretty exclusive group with our lab. That's something very new that they sought us out, and that was kind of a reassuring, another one of those confidence building things that led to us. But as far as our brand goes, we've been fortunate and we've never really had to do a whole lot of advertising outside of your normal social media stuff. And I'm sitting here holding my breath that you don't get too deep into this website, which is about to be completely redone, probably starting in about the next 10 days. But that's something that we've taken a look at and we're starting to work on. We want to redo our website completely. Moving into the studio 2 years ago really kind of boosted our brand in the area, I think. It certainly added a layer of legitimacy to what we were doing, to be able to have a place that people come to now and that's not in our home. And that's nothing against home-based photographers, because that model works and it works for a lot of people. But for us, it was time. And we looked for over 2 years to find the right space and the right fit. And that helped our brand. From a brand standpoint, I'm not where I want us to be, if that makes sense. We are known in the area pretty well for being one of the premier, I guess, I don't know if that's the best word, but or most sought after, or whatever the case may be. Popular, I would prefer, probably. But one of the most popular senior photographers in our area. There are others. And I really feel like we've done a good job over the last 5 or 6 years of just building our brand overall. But we're not done. There's still work to do. And it's one of those things for us that, and you can relate to this too, as a working professional photographer, there's just, like you said earlier, the photography part is only a small part. The business part of it probably takes up more of the time. And so it just gets to the point real quickly where something's got to give. And what's give for us has been the marketing, the branding, the website, those kinds of things. And so we're kind of refocusing on that for 2021. I'm excited about it, and it's only going to enhance our brand and get us closer to where I'd like to be as a brand.
Sure. I know. I have buddies of mine that are still, the problem with ruts is that if you don't know on a conversation level Like I can call you and talk. If you don't know somebody else that's already doing it, who can help you? Who can help you make a move if they didn't make it themselves?
Right.
And it that became very difficult. Like our branding happened, oh wow, 7 or 8 years ago, and it was something that made me think a lot. I mean, the company that we were paying for our PR work back then to kind of help us rebrand, it gave us some questions to go home and think about, and go look at our own website and go look at our own marketing material and see if they even looked like the questions that they were asking us. Something as simple as, what is your color?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, huh? Wait, what color represents you? And I'm like, you kidding me, right? Like, does a color really a color? And then she's like, Tiffany. I said, yes. And she goes, finish. I said, blue. She goes, exactly. She goes, Jimmy Choo shoes. Sold? I'm like, red. She goes, see where I'm going with this? She goes, Tiffany has always had the blue box for decades. It's like their thing. They were like one of the first ones, honestly, to have a color that was recognizable to a company. And then you start getting into the Coca-Colas, and it's the red. It's that exact red. And it starts making you think. It's like, okay, no pressure whatsoever. What the hell color is going to define this?
Right?
Yeah, and just the color alone was like weeks of conversation. It's like, look, I'm 100% male, but I'm also highly in tune to my feminine side, and 90-something% of my clients are women, and black doesn't work. Just because you're a dude doesn't have to be black or gray or something to that matter. It's like, what's the majority of the work that you do? Like, how does that work? And let me see if I can do this. Which is why we came up with this mango orange kind of flare that I like so much. In fact, when I do they call them banners over here. When I throw a banner up, it's pretty close to the color that we kind of chose with. And something as simple these days as the hashtag.
Right.
For me, it's simple, clean, beautiful. And I kind of explained that yesterday. But all those little things goes into like the back end of what your brand is. And I'm going to go to just this if I can. This is a scroll down. Now this is only gray and white up here, but as you get down beneath there, you start seeing like the color of my little brand thingies. But the cool part for me is having something like this, to where me eventually coming up with the simple, clean, beautiful. Now I kind of gave myself a guideline to always follow. I'm trying to get back to my screen. I'm sorry. Hold on. Where are you? Here it is.
I love your 3 words, by the way. I remember, I don't remember if it was on YouTube or in the Focus with GK group a while. It was 2 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah.
When you were first coming up with that and first implementing that. I have notes. I have to go back and find them because I still haven't settled on our 3 words. And we've gone back and forth and we revisit it from time to time because I want to come up with what our 3 words are too. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to steal those 3, but those 3 are great.
Thank you so much. I gotta be honest. One day it kind of flew off the tongue, and I wrote it down, and I just kind of kept looking at it. And what I was realizing that, let's go back like 7 years, okay? So 7 years ago, when digital was very graphically, the everything from wedding albums to senior albums, like we were just doing more graphic stuff. Because we can, as photographers, like, look what we can do, and we vomited it all over the pages. And then I started realizing, I like my albums to look clean, just that white page, simple matte kind of thing. And I was like, simple, interesting. Okay, leave that word labor somewhere. But what happened to me, Darren, was when I created that hashtag, I almost gave myself a set of guidelines that I had to keep myself in check.
Right.
even though I may do some cool stuff like that for clients, I won't show it anywhere online. If it doesn't hold on to my hashtag, I don't post it. So I have some cool graphic-y things that I've done with the sky and with a car that we did, and I like to add some flair to it, and it's fun, it's cool, it's what I can do. But if it didn't look like the hashtag, sadly, it never made Instagram.
Well, there's something to be said for consistency.
Yeah, and it was hard, honestly, because us dudes, we like to show you every gadget we have in the tool shed. And it's like, look, I have a saw. I can build a house. It's like, oh my God, just show me how to cut wood. Oh my gosh. Well, I tell you what, I'm so glad you took the time to do this because one, it's a fantastic test for me. But if anybody else, oh wait, hold on, who's on here? We got a Facebook user. Can you see the comments as well?
I cannot, I don't think.
I thought I had it turned on and you can see the comments. See, this is good stuff. All it says is Facebook user, howdy. And somebody says, sorry for my.
Yes, I can actually.
Arrival. You can see that. Okay.
There's two options for me. There's a private chat and then there's the comments, and I had it on private chat, I guess, by default.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I just clicked on show.
I can see it now.
Okay. Well, Facebook user, do us all a favor. Tell us your name, because unfortunately, I'm not seeing your username. I don't know why. It just says howdy. It just says Facebook user. Sorry, it doesn't give me your actual name. So if you're out there and the Facebook user is you, let us know who you are. Oh, check that out. I didn't realize that. Okay, so I'm looking at the screen right here. When I clicked show, it shows it here. That's good. Vance, come on, man. What's up, bud? I don't know why it's not showing me your name, though. That's odd. I'm sure that's something I need to do a little research on when I get off of here. So if anybody who is brand new to the group, Vance is one of our buddies that have been around for a while now. And I probably can't. I can. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. Desktop. I want to show you. Okay. So that's desktop, right? La 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 la. All right. So let me come over here to share screen. This one, screen 3, sure. All right. So this image is a shot that that Vance did a couple of days ago, and the image that he posted was a bluer image, and I was like, hey, send me that raw file. I want to show you what I can do here, and just through Capture One. So talk about the things that keep you pumped in photography, that keeps you passionate. Something as simple as, hey, send me that raw file. I want to show you some editing that the way I would see it. And the cool thing is that instead of Vance being, aggravated, like, what do you mean you'll show me your way? It's not what photography is, especially if you shoot in RAW. In RAW, finding color, finding the right crop, finding the contrast, like that's all personal preference. Right. It is, and something like Darren, like you show me like one of your senior shots, and if you were to send me the RAW file, and if I did a little bit different coloring here and there, neither's really right or wrong. It's how you want to show the client, and it's how I would envision it. I think that soul expression right there, that little minimalistic view of what photography can be, is awesome. I think it's that baseline of, look, we're all different. We're all unique. Learn how to do this craft as well as people that you would admire. But at the end of the day, there's only one Darren. There's only one me. And besides your work, that shaking of the hands, which we're on pause for doing right now with COVID, but I'm a hugger. It's such a personal business that we're in. So to create a business where the masses are coming to you, that is a huge, huge accomplishment. And it doesn't matter how long it took you to get there, how short or long, it doesn't matter. It's still a big, big pat on the back when that phone call rings or you get an email. like I never take that for granted, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So for me to keep tabs on you and see you and your lovely wife doing well, that makes me so proud, because I knew y'all had that in the beginning when I met you. I knew as people you had it. I knew creatively you would definitely get it, because y'all both have good eyes and good business sense for that kind of stuff. But when somebody says I've been in business for, and it's like how many years, I don't think people really understand the amount of accomplishment that actually is, rather than how easily it's just kind of thrown under the rug. Yeah, it's been 26 years. It's like, dude, I'm still competing with the 1-year people
That's
now.
right.
You know, so
you're competing with those 1-year people for 26 times over.
absolutely. I have to prove to every single client why I charge what I charge. And reputation is great, but you still got to do it.
That's right.
You know. Right. Well, look, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you probably didn't have a whole lot to give, and thank you for what you did give me today.
Oh, no problem. Glad to do it anytime.
Oh man. So Vance, I got to figure out why I'm only seeing Facebook user here and not your name. I got to go figure that part out. So anyway, man, thanks for being here. I'm going to do a lot more of these kinds of streams. I encourage anybody out there, when I name a topic and you would love to jump on. I believe, Darren, you could be on your phone too. I don't think you have to be on your computer to even join us, which is really neat. But yeah, so look, if you get a chance, go check out Darren's website. And why don't you tell us what it is as I try to pull it up over here, because I can't.
All right, hang on a minute. Let me get my details here, so I'll make sure I get mine.
Let me see. Where am I?
We're in kind of in process, as I was mentioning. So I'm going to jump back to. Hold on a minute. I cannot multitask. Our website is ThompsonPhotographyDesign.com, and we're also on Instagram as Thompson Photo Design. But
cool.
We have, and then I'm on Facebook, and the company is Thompson Photography Plus Design on Facebook is our company page, and then Darren Thompson is my personal. But
that's awesome.
What you were saying earlier about about branding and is our brand where we want to be and that kind of thing. When we moved into a studio 2 years ago, that was a really big catalyst for us to completely wholesale change. We changed our logo. That's when we developed our color. You'll see a lot of our stuff now, our color's teal. It's pretty obvious. But that gave us that kick in the butt to wholesale change. We did a name change at the same time. We own a couple of different domains, and we're still, again, we not enough hours in the day to get it all done, kind of thing. But we're getting ready to do that for some consistency on the names and email addresses and all that fun stuff that comes with it. But
absolutely,
glad to help out anytime I can. And
man, look, every time you kind of pop in and you throw me a little pat on the back somewhere, you have no idea what that does to me. And that's, I don't know, since a kid I've been like this. You give me a pat on the back, it makes me want to do it 1,000 times more, harder, stronger. So that's why I kind of encourage everybody to throw somebody a compliment. You may think it's little, but yeah, it could be somebody's huge pinnacle of their day where they just had a down, boring day. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm huge on the whole human experience thing. And that I'm going to ride until I go to my grave.
It's a lot of, to me, it's about the relationships, not only with our clients, but with other photographers such as yourself. And we have a lot of respect for you, and we feel like we owe you a little debt of gratitude because of helping prompt us along when we were in the infancy stages, and it's great to be able to still reach out and reconnect from time to time. And
I never forget, man. I never forget me telling you guys it was like the last night or something of the seminar, and it was in the evening, and you and your wife were together, and I was grabbing her and telling her, I says, look, you keep him motivated, and you guys it's like together you guys can accomplish mountains, but you never lose that want, because the passion never goes away because obviously you love photography. The business part can sink a ship though.
Right.
But you two doing it together, I was like, hell yeah. But I'll never forget your wife looking at you a certain way. Kind of like that. I don't know, like that was the push you needed, or you had a conversation in the car driving up there. I don't know. Something just kind of clicked, which is why I probably pushed 3 or 4 more times before I left. It was like,
we still have that autographed GK edition white backdrop in our studio, still in use.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Well, I'm gonna have to go bug Mr. Junyan again, or maybe get an after dark going. But if anything, once this COVID thing lifts up, I really do want to put on a small group seminar like here in New Orleans and do different things. You know, we do food one day, do models the next day, do interior maybe the third day, just kind of mix it up to where it's not just all one thing.
Right.
Because COVID has given us limitations due to events. And I do so many different things, thank God. So from headshots to food to families to kids, newborns, weddings, I do it all. And the pinch here and there is kind of keeping me going. But buddies of mine that are only doing industry work, it's hurting really, 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 really bad right now. So, you know, so look, man, thanks for being here. I really do appreciate you and your lovely wife. Tell her I said hello. But I'm going to close this sucker out for everybody else who has been on here. Thank you so much. If you joined us, if you're catching this on the rebroadcast, you can still say some things in the comments. We do see them later on. And if you would like to join us in the future on some other topic I may be throwing out there, there's a link that will send you that will allow you to do as Mr. Darren did and join us on here. So as I say all the time, stay focused on your dreams. That is a lot harder and easier said than done. But people like Darren and I are going to be here to show you that it is done every day, and it all begins with you. So I will see you soon.